Welcome to Almost Here, Round the Corner Future Technology podcasts with Richard Jacobs. Future technologies poised to transform our lives for better or worse are the focus of this podcast. Almost here means these technologies are now here and starting to be used, or just around the corner, from Bitcoin to artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more. Coming to Dallas, Texas, September 14th, 15th, and 16th, 2018, the Blockchain and Future Tech Expo. This is going to be a gigantic conference of over 5,000 people. We're going to be talking about blockchain and its applications. We're going to be talking about quantum computing, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and several other future technologies that are poised to and actually changing our lives as we speak. Here's why you should attend. As you may know, early adopters are the ones that investigated and profited from things like the gold rush in the 1800s, from the dot-com boom in the 1990s, from the internet boom in 2005, from the smartphone explosion in 2007, from the real estate boom that ended in 2008, and of course, from the Bitcoin boom that started in 2012. Early adopters act now. They don't wait till later. They go out west first. In their covered wagons, they find the biggest gold nuggets. If you consider yourself an early adopter and you want to find the biggest nuggets, then you owe it to yourself to attend this upcoming conference. Blockchain is going to affect how we control and store our medical data, how we send money around the world, how we bank, and more. But artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and cybersecurity will play a pivotal role in our lives as well. And that's why our next event, September 14th to the 16th at the Dallas Convention Center, is going to have not only 5,000 plus attendees, but will showcase blockchain, AI, cybersecurity, quantum computing, and more. You want to get in on the coming gold rush of future tech and opportunity as an early adopter. Don't be left out. To register, go to bftexpo.com. That's blockchainfuturetechexpo.com. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. This is Chris with the Future Tech Podcast. My guest today is Hans Lombardo with Blockpass.org. Welcome, Hans.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here and get an opportunity to talk to you and your viewers.
Excellent. Hans, tell us about your background and what led you to get involved with Blockpass.
Yeah, my background, I've been involved as an entrepreneur investing and starting up companies in technology for many years. I went through the internet bubble. I went on to found a number of companies which I sold my stake in, and I've always been fascinated with disruptive tech, innovative technologies, and I find it very thrilling to be involved in new and interesting technology. And I got involved in blockchain about 4 years ago when my old boss asked me to go to an Inside Bitcoins conference. My old boss was Alan Meckler of Internet.com and Internet World fame. And he invited me to this conference he was running called Inside Bitcoins. And I was kind of skeptical at first, but because it was digital currency, I wasn't that excited initially in it. But then when I found out about the technology behind it, which was blockchain technology and its potential for distributed applications, I became very interested, and I saw it as the future of online commerce and interaction.
Okay. And what were the steps immediately before you got involved with Blockpass? What led you to that?
Well, a couple of years ago, a group of technologists and I, we formed a company called Chain of Things, and we were focused on blockchain, using blockchain as a way to secure IoT, because IoT has huge issues with security, with the growth and the amount of connected devices in the world in the billions. We thought blockchain could be a sort of security fabric for devices, and namely, really, by creating identity for devices from the factory floor, a sort of birth certificate for devices. But as we were investigating and doing research and R&D and doing proofs of concept, we found that really the big problem with that was that there wasn't an adequate human identity platform, sort of self-sovereign human identity platform. So we formed a JV with a company based in Vietnam called Infinity Blockchain Labs. Our company is called Chain of Things, and we formed a JV with IBL, or Infinity Blockchain Labs, which is a Japanese-owned company in Vietnam. And we started working on Blockpass over a year ago, and now we have a full product that's launching in the next few weeks, which is an identity verification platform for users. We can do KYC, know your customer, anti-money laundering, everything, all kinds of applications for it. And we see huge potential for it, as it is user-centric and user-controlled identity management over mobile app.
Can you talk to us a little bit more about the future that you see involved with that, what you just mentioned?
Okay, so the lower hanging fruit for it really is the blockchain ecosystem, the token offerings, the financial services, exchanges, cryptocurrency exchanges. There's a huge cost to onboarding customers, what they call know your customer or KYC process, where it also can involve AML or anti-money laundering, as well as further sort of deep dive into verifying people's identity. And Blockpass is a simple application that is you download onto your phone, where you can do it all as a user. You can do it all on your phone, and including onboarding into an exchange, and you control the app and you control the data. The data is stored on your phone, and you can decide whether to send it to an exchange to sign up for the exchange, or, for example, if you see a token offering you're interested in. And that's really the earlier business that we're going to be doing on the platform. But we're also getting a lot of interest from mainstream financial services, where banks, emerging banks in particular, and other financial services see huge potential for it. I mean, including insurance companies, trade finance, and some other areas of sort of commerce and industry.
What did the emerging banks see in the potential? Like, what are some of the first steps that they identify with and are excited about?
Well, in the financial services world, there's huge cost in KYC. It's a spiraling cost. Doing know your customer, anti-money laundering is becoming more and more costly. And because Blockpass is a shared platform, it reduces shared infrastructure. It reduces cost for emerging enterprises, emerging financial services. And the reason why it's a huge cost is becoming more and more of a requirement of regulators for people doing business, or people signing up to financial services, insurance, cryptocurrency, crypto on exchange, signing up to exchanges. They have to go through the whole process, and it's becoming very costly for exchanges and mainstream banking. I mean, an example is Coinbase a few years ago said that 20% of their budget was spent on onboarding customers. Now, it's probably even more now because of the enormous amount of users that they're trying to onboard, thousands of them, because they're all trying to get into the crypto economy. That's where it is. It's really reduction in cost, reduction in a pain point for merchants, but also for the user. Users have to go through this KYC process over and over again. Now, with Blockpass, they only have to do it once, and if a merchant's on the platform, they can use any merchant on the platform who's actually on the platform, so they don't have to do the KYC process again. It's already been done, and it's stored on their phone. Once they click a new customer or pick a new merchant, then they can the data just goes straight to that merchant. The merchant is then verified, can confirm that user's verified.
That's cool. So tell us about the most recent developments with your platform and where you are on the roadmap.
Okay, so the most recent development is we're going from beta to full 1.0 version, and that is happening very soon in the next few weeks. We're working on launching. We're going to have a big launch party, big event in London where we debut the platform, and in the coming weeks we will continue to promote that, and also we will release our token, which is the Pass token, and within like 6 weeks of that product launch. and the token is actually used in the platform. It's a utility token. And so that's really big and really important. And we're also going to be having events in Tokyo and Hong Kong as well. Debuting the platform and also the token.
Can you give us more specific dates on that, or should we be looking for that on your website, on the socials? Okay.
So the dates are still kind of tentative, but the mid-April we will do our product launch party, and then at Tokyo we'll be debuting in Tokyo the first week of May, and then by the end of May we're doing the sort of another big sort of launch party in Hong Kong, and that is just to entertain, to bring our market to those potential customers in those markets, and also our followers and community supporters, so Blockpass community supporters, and to encourage participation and download our app, because we'll be airdropping tokens so that users can actually get the tokens and then download the app and demonstrate how they're used. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So walk us through how one of your users, or I guess one of the initial users, is going to get on your platform and get involved.
Okay, so like an example would be there's a cryptocurrency exchange that we're integrating with, and the users will, if they want to trade on the exchange, to onboard, they just download the app. They go through the process. They can download it via iOS, Apple Store, and also Android Play Store. So they can download it from there. The app is on both stores, going to be fully available on both stores, and they just download the app and they go through the process. There's several levels. There's level 0 to 3. Level 0 is just your email address. Level 1 is your name. Level 3 is your address and other information. And the next level is passport. Upload a scan of your passport, which you can do with your phone, a selfie with holding your ID, and a proof of address, which is a scan of a utility bill. And that is the initial process. You do that and then send that to a smart contract. It's engraved into a smart contract and a Merkle tree, and then the merchant can verify, the exchange can verify that user has been verified, and then that user becomes a customer of the exchange, and then they're on the platform, and they can any merchant or any kind of token offering or service provider that joins the platform, the user doesn't have to go through the KYC process again. They can just click a drop down to see what other merchants are on it, and they can use those merchants. And the thing is, sometimes the merchants will have additional information, and they'll just they'll send a call in for, we need your, we need something else from you. Maybe it's your birth certificate or, something like that. But
sure.
That's just an example. So,
speaking of merchants and examples, can you give us a kind of sampling of the merchants that you're currently involved with?
Yeah. So exchanges, utility tokens, token offerings, crypto cards, crypto services, other crypto services. Some of the merchants are token offering platforms where they offer multiple services for companies that projects that want to do a token offering and maybe provide other services such as company setup, accounting, etc. Blockpass is just the KYC part, the identity verification part of the platform. So that's an example. There's other merchants that we're talking to, includes banks, where they're interested in using KYC application that's simple, has a good UX user experience, and that's absolutely key actually for the blockchain sector in general is the user experience. That's how we get to the mainstream users and mainstream customers.
All right. So earlier we were talking about the backbone of Blockpass, and that's been the idea of identity verification. What are the unique problems that you've encountered at Blockpass and solutions that you've come up with to solve those problems?
Okay, well, sort of the unique problems are just the The main problem is the difficulty for users in onboarding into a platform such as, an exchange such as Kraken, where they have to go through the process of doing the photographs and everything. And we've just tightened it up and made the user experience better in terms of using the phone to be easily go through the process of taking a photo, scanning your passport, etc. We just facilitate that by just a simple but user-friendly mobile app. And there's some problems that are harder to resolve, and that's blockchain is not immune to the fact that garbage in is garbage out. So like if you get bad data, then that data is going to be there. So you only can mitigate against that. And so we've come up with some strategies, including a combination of machine verification and human verification. So it reduces the risk, where most machine or sort of software verification is it can tell you sort of percentage. It can't always tell you yes or no that this is a person, but kind of can tell you what the percentage is that this is the actual person. For example, if it's a facial recognition or if it's scanning a passport. But then a human portion will be able to, like such as a notary, that might be plugged. Notaries are going to be plugged into the platform. They'll be able to verify whether, with maybe a degree of more accuracy, if the person, for example, the person in the photo is the same person in the passport. So that's just an example. And so by using both machine and human verification, you are mitigating error against error, but you can't completely eliminate error.
So just to understand here, it starts with the machine verification, and then it's confirmed on the human side, correct?
Yeah. So initially we don't have that, but that is the plan. We're plugging that in the next versions of the application. So that's coming, as well as the biometric sort of verification, and later stage we're doing zero knowledge proof technology. We're going to continue to be improving the technology on Blockpass. We've recently partnered with a UK university who will essentially, they'll be creating a Blockpass identity lab which will kind of act as our R&D center for Blockpass and identity verification. So that's all really exciting. Yeah.
Very good. So in the realm of identity verification and just related kind of fields, what do you think is the near-term future of your industry?
I think in the near term, right now there are quite a few ID verification platforms, even in the blockchain sector. I think there needs to be more partnership and consolidation between players, not go off and do your own version. We all should be using the W3C DID standard, which is very important. And as long as we're doing that, we're going to be compatible. But Blockpass is very much encouraging that. We're trying to encourage ID platforms that may seem to be our competitors to join us, and by using the actual crypto tokens as a means of compatibility, and by using sort of a barter system or a sort of integrated system where we're staking tokens so that we can integrate our platform so our users can use their merchants and their users can use our merchants, and that's I think absolutely key. That's what and then I'm hoping that starts to formulate in the near future. So we are, all of us are. So, and I think it will. I think there's potential for that because there is a decentralized identity foundation, which is very much about using DID, the W3 standard, to develop a standard across blockchain. Also, we are working on being blockchain agnostic, and the two blockchains we're working on are, Ethereum we've done pretty much from the beginning, but we're working on Neo now as well. We're going to we're just in discussions about being part of Neo's acceleration process for its startups in its blockchain, and Blockpass being a tool that the startups can use, the ICOs, the token offerings on Neo can use. So we're very much interested in doing other blockchains, whether that be Ethereum, Neo, and then perhaps in the future EOS and Qtum or Quanta. We're very interested in doing that.
And have you spoken with those groups already, or are you kind of in conversation with them? Or
just Neo, and Neo we've been in discussions with, but we haven't spoken to EOS. I think EOS is still maybe too early stage. We've talked to Qtum about other device identity, but not human identity yet. So they're also a member of another alliance that we're members of. We're a member of an alliance called Trusted IoT Alliance, and that's about creating smart contract standards for device identity devices for blockchain, using blockchain. So, and that includes an identity standard for devices.
So a lot of exciting things in the future of Blockpass. What do you see? Yeah, what do you see in the next year or two with Blockpass?
Yeah, so what I see is, okay, we have our next few months is pretty big because we're going out with 1.0, and then we're releasing our token, and then I see in the future releases having biometrics fully in the 2.0 application, and later further along down the road, zero knowledge proof technology, which is like phenomenal technology where it's passwordless way of authentication, fully decentralized, and so there's that too. But also I see launching versions of Blockpass on different blockchains. Very much see that, particularly because I think blockchains will start to scale in the next few years, and I think there are new blockchains that aren't as we get away from proof of work. I mean, Ethereum is still proof of work. It needs to scale by adopting a new consensus protocol. These other blockchains like Neo's delegated BFT, which is supposed to be a highly scalable blockchain consensus protocol. So these, with scaling, Blockpass is going to be phenomenal because then it can scale along with the blockchains that it's built upon.
Fantastic.
Developed.
Yeah, the idea of zero knowledge proof coming out and affecting everything is definitely something to look forward to.
Yeah. We need to have a way of educating people about ZKP, and particularly about educating regulators. But I think ultimately they'll be comfortable with it when they understand it.
Well, speaking of that, what do you think are like some first steps to educate the regulators and others about ZKP?
Well, I think you need to educate them about blockchain in general, on that it's not just it may be anonymous, Bitcoin may be anonymous, but it's also transparent. So blockchains are all transparent, meaning that you can see with an Explorer, you can see every transaction, and that you can see the way sort of wealth and money is floating around the blockchain. And I think you can educate that ZKP protects the user, and it's fully compatible with particularly new privacy regulations in places like Europe, like GDPR, and elsewhere. But at the same time, it doesn't like prevent tracking of money laundering and other sort of tax avoidance and things like that. So it protects the user from the user perspective, but it's not going to protect against tracking of that. So I think that's what we have to emphasize to government and to the media in general, that this is not like stealth currency or stealth tokens. It's about protecting the user rather than the other way around.
Yeah, that's an excellent way to say it. I think that with the user in mind, that's a quick pathway to education for everyone.
Right.
How is this going to protect my grandmother, or how is this going to protect me? So
right, absolutely. So I think that's absolutely key. It's that's what's important with these new technologies like ZKP, is that they're not designed to for tax avoidance, money laundering, criminal activity. They're designed for protection, user protection. And that's absolutely key in this world where, if you look at what's happening in the internet hasn't evolved the way everyone envisioned, in that it's become an area where data on users is it's hacked and available. Look what happened with Equifax. Equifax collected all this data without users' permission, really. They never, and they half the U.S. population was data on half the U.S. population was released because Equifax was hacked. So, I mean, that is a disaster of huge proportions. So, we need to, use blockchain is an excellent tool to prevent this type of data loss and uncontrolled, data lake, where users have no control. And Blockpass is designed where users can, if they want to, they can transmit their data to people. They can send the data to people, their personal data, if they want to, and make money from it. Now, if that's what they want to do, that's fair enough. But if other people are making money from their data and giving it to other companies, or they're getting hacked, and then that's a huge problem.
Yeah, well, the Blockpass solution is a good way to flip that experience into the hands of the user and give them the advantage. So, Hans,
Absolutely.
it's been really great chatting with you today. I was wondering if you have any final thoughts and how we can stay in touch with you and find out more about Blockpass.
Yeah, so come to blockpass.org. Check out our website. Also, Blockpass.org on Twitter. We are also on Telegram. So sign up to our Telegram, because there's going to be a lot more news in the coming weeks and months, particularly about our platform release, the various versions, and also our token release as well. And you can find out information about our events in London in mid-April, Tokyo at the beginning of May, and also Hong Kong at the end of May.
Excellent.
So we're very looking forward to hearing from people. If anybody has any questions, send me an email at hans.lombardo@blockpass.org.
Very good. Hans, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, too. Yeah, have a good day. Okay, bye-bye.
Hans Lombardo with blockpass.org, and we look forward to everybody tuning in next time for the Future Tech Podcast.
Coming to Dallas, Texas, September 14th, 15th, and 16th, 2018, the Blockchain and Future Tech Expo. This is going to be a gigantic conference of over 5,000 people. We're going to be talking about blockchain and its applications. We're going to be talking about quantum computing, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and several other future technologies that are poised to and actually changing our lives as we speak. Here's why you should attend. As you may know, early adopters are the ones that investigated and profited from things like the gold rush in the 1800s, from the dot-com boom in the 1990s, from the internet boom in 2005, from the smartphone explosion in 2007, from the real estate boom that ended in 2008, and of course, from the Bitcoin boom that started in 2012. Early adopters act now. They don't wait till later. They go out west first. In their covered wagons, they find the biggest gold nuggets. If you consider yourself an early adopter and you want to find the biggest nuggets, then you owe it to yourself to attend this upcoming conference. Blockchain is going to affect how we control and store our medical data, how we send money around the world, how we bank, and more. But artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and cybersecurity will play a pivotal role in our lives as well. And that's why our next event, September 14th to the 16th at the Dallas Convention Center, is going to have not only 5,000 plus attendees, but will showcase blockchain, AI, cybersecurity, quantum computing, and more. You want to get in on the coming gold rush of future tech and opportunity as an early adopter. Don't be left out. To register, go to bftexpo.com. That's blockchainfuturetechexpo.com. Thank you. You have been listening to Almost Here, Around the Corner Future Technology podcast with Richard Jacobs. Subscribe to this podcast, post a review to discover more future technologies that are poised to transform our lives for better or worse, such as Bitcoin, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.